I still remember my first day at school as if it happened just yesterday. It was a mixture of excitement, nervousness, and curiosity. I was a small child, probably 5 or 6 years old, and I had never been away from home for so long before. That day marked the beginning of my academic journey, and even now it stands out as one of the most unforgettable days of my life. I woke up very early that morning. My mother had already laid out my uniform on the bed. It was neatly ironed, and everything looked so new. My white shirt, blue shorts, shiny shoes, and my little backpack filled with new books, pencils, and a lunchbox. My parents were even more excited than I was, especially my mother. She dressed me, combed my hair, and kept reminding me how proud they were. She kept telling me, "You're going to learn new things, make friends, and enjoy your time." As we walked to school, I held my mother's hand tightly. My heart was beating fast, and I had so many questions in my mind. What would my teacher be like? Would I be able to make friends? Would I get lost? All those thoughts were spinning in my head. When we arrived at the school gate, there were children everywhere. Some were crying, some were laughing, and some just stood there silently like me. My mother gave me a kiss on the forehead and said, "Be brave, you'll be fine." Then she handed me over to a teacher standing near the gate. I looked back one last time and walked into the classroom with tiny, hesitant steps. The classroom was colourful and filled with small desks and chairs. On the walls, there were pictures of animals, alphabets, numbers, and drawings made by other students. It felt like a different world. My teacher was a kind-looking woman who greeted me with a warm smile. She asked me my name, and I softly told her. Then she pointed to a seat next to another boy and asked me to sit there. I didn't say anything, just nodded and quietly sat down. The boy looked at me and smiled. I smiled back, and that was the beginning of our first conversation. We didn't talk much, but that small smile helped me feel a little more comfortable. The teacher then started talking to the whole class. She introduced herself and told us a little about what we were going to do. She asked all of us to introduce ourselves one by one. I was very nervous when it was my turn, but I managed to stand up and say, "My name is..." That was probably the first time I spoke in front of so many people. It wasn't perfect, but the teacher clapped and encouraged everyone, which made me feel safe. After that, she gave us some colouring pages and crayons and asked us to colour the pictures. I remember colouring a picture of a sun and a house. Slowly, the fear inside me began to disappear, and I started enjoying the activity. We even sang a few rhymes like "Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star" and "ABC Song." I still remember how fun it was when the whole class sang together. Then it was time for lunch. I opened my lunchbox and saw that my mother had packed my favourite paratha with jam. The boy sitting next to me had sandwiches. We started talking a bit more and shared our food. It felt nice. I wasn't alone anymore. I had made my very first school friend. After lunch, we listened to a story that the teacher read out loud. It was about a rabbit and a turtle. I was amazed at how the teacher used actions and expressions to make the story come alive. I didn't understand every word, but I understood enough to enjoy it. I was beginning to feel like school was not such a scary place after all. Later in the day, we did some basic activities with shapes and letters. The teacher showed us flashcards and asked us to repeat after her. We practiced saying A for apple, B for ball, and so on. It was so simple, but also very exciting. For the first time, I felt like I was doing something important. When the school bell rang, I wasn't sure what it meant, but then I saw other children picking up their bags and going outside. I followed them, and there at the gate, I saw my parents waiting for me. I ran up to them and hugged them tightly. My mother asked, "So how was it?" And I replied with a big smile, "It was good." That moment was full of happiness and relief. Looking back now, my first day at school taught me a lot. It taught me how to be brave in a new environment. It taught me how to make friends, how to listen and follow instructions, and most of all, how to adapt. It was the first step in a journey of learning, And even though I didn't realize it then, it was a very important day in my life. For those of you preparing for English language tests like the IELTS, or just looking to improve your English speaking skills, talking about your personal experiences is one of the most effective ways to develop fluency and build confidence. In IELTS Speaking, you are often asked to describe past events, like your first day at school, your favorite holiday, or an unforgettable experience. The key is to speak naturally, clearly, and with some structure. You can start by describing when and where the event took place, then talk about the people involved, the activities you did, how you felt during that time, and what you learned from the experience. It's okay to use simple words. What matters more is your ability to express your thoughts smoothly and confidently. You can practice this by writing down your memory in your own words, then reading it aloud. Try recording yourself. Listen back and notice areas where you can improve your pronunciation, grammar, or clarity. If you make mistakes, that's perfectly okay. Mistakes are part of the process. Every time you speak, you get one step closer to fluency. Also, practicing topics like this helps you develop your storytelling skills, which are very useful in Part 2 of the IELTS speaking test, where you're asked to speak for 1 to 2 minutes on a given topic. You can use the same method for other common questions. Just keep practicing and keep using English every day, even if it's just speaking with yourself. Remember, language is not just about rules and vocabulary. It's about communicating feelings, sharing stories, and making connections. Your story matters. So when you speak about something as personal as your first day at school, it becomes easier to talk with emotion and detail, which automatically improves your fluency. So whether you're an English learner, an IELTS candidate, or someone who just enjoys improving your communication skills, take a moment today to think back to your own first day at school. Write about it, speak about it, share it. That small story could become your best speaking practice. And that brings us to the end of this video. I hope my story helped you think about your own, and I hope you learned something useful from it. Keep practicing, keep speaking, and never stop learning. If you found this video helpful, please like it, share it with others who are learning English, and subscribe to our channel, Ali Trainings Official, for more helpful content, tips and examples to help you become more fluent, more confident, and more prepared for any English-speaking challenge. Thanks for being with us today. Keep growing, keep speaking, and remember, every expert was once a beginner. You're on the right path. Take care and see you in the next video.